Good morning, friends. It's Aaron, your Celebrate Recovery Ministry leader here, aka MLA Ron. And it is the Tuesday morning after Labor Day. It's kind of a bittersweet morning in my house. I just saw my family head off down the road to their new school year in a new building. And that's kind of exciting. It's year 20 something for my wife. I forget exactly how many it's been. And I have a third grader and an eighth grader, and a little nervous for them, but I'm super excited for them. God is good, and I believe it's going to be a great year. So today I want to recall an incident that happened in my at work last week. So I was sitting in my cube, and a coworker came by, and she just had to ask me something. And as we were sitting there talking, she noticed that I have a coin sitting on my computer keyboard. Now, it's not a coin like a quarter or a nickel or anything like that. It's about the size of a $50, and it's kind of bronze-ish in color. And she looked at it and she says, "Ooh, is that a military coin?" And I said, "No, ma'am. That is a recovery coin." And she looked at me with kind of a sideways glance and took a little pause. And then she says, "Good for you. Good for you." Now, I really do appreciate her sentiment. In her own way, she was telling me, "Good job on your sobriety." And that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad that people recognize that. But I also know exactly where her thoughts were going. I could see the proverbial gears turning inside her noggin, and she immediately went to the place that so many people mistakenly do, and she thought that I was a recovering drug addict or alcoholic, which I am not. And I can't fault her for that, because for the vast majority of people, that's what they think of when they think of recovery. But that's not me. I'm a man in recovery, absolutely, 14 years now. But I am not a drug addict, and I'm not an alcoholic. And today I want to dispel the myth that recovery is just about chemical addiction. I want to talk about what recovery actually is, and then mention some of the other bases that it covers. So what exactly is recovery? Well, I want you to think about being on a long journey 100 years ago, okay? You're crossing the ocean on a boat of some sort, and you got with you your prized possession, some great treasure, okay? Maybe it's a stack of gold, maybe it's, I don't know, something that is of immense worth. And somehow along the way, your ship is tossed in a storm and the treasure is washed overboard, and you have now lost this oh so valuable treasure of yours. And you will never be the same. You will always think back about how you could have saved this treasure, or you could have stopped it from washing overboard. You'll always be saddened by the fact that you have lost this. You will always look at life through the eyes of loss, and you will never, ever be the same. You will never be the complete person you were before you lost this treasure. Now imagine you have the opportunity somehow to go and hunt for this treasure. It's not going to be an easy task. It's going to take a lot of money. You have to work hard to get the funding. You have to put together the crew, hire the charter boat. You have to have a cartographer to make maps of the seafloor. You have to have the proper scuba gear. I don't know that they had scuba gear 100 years ago, but you get the idea. And then once you go under the water, you have to actually search for this treasure. And that might be a long, long search. It's hard work, but eventually you find the treasure and you're able to be reunited with it, bring it back on board, take it back now to where you live. You have back that which was lost, something that was so precious. And once again, you feel complete. And that's what recovery is. You have recovered something that was lost. Now, maybe that something is relationships, or a sense of self-worth, or a closeness to God. Something was lost, but through recovery, you regained it. You got it back. That's recovery. And that covers so many more bases than just chemical dependency. In fact, in the 14 years that I have actively been involved in a recovery program at my church, it's Celebrate Recovery. I'll talk more about that next time. In the years that I have been in recovery, I have honestly worked with relatively few chemical dependents. Most of the people in my little recovery circle, if you will, are folks that have other struggles that they're dealing with. I'll tell you just a little bit about my issues. I am an addict. There is no doubt about that. I am an addict, but I don't suffer from alcoholism or drug addiction. I am a food addict. I could eat unbelievable amounts of food, not because I'm hungry, but because I crave it, because I think about it constantly. Even today, 14 years into recovery, I don't know that I ever stopped thinking about food. It's not like a drug addiction where you can just remove yourself from the source of the drugs. I can't be removed from food because I have to eat to stay alive. I can't turn on the TV and not see an advertisement for Hardee's, or drive down the highway and not see an advertisement for Chick-fil-A or whatever. It is constantly in my face. Food is my addiction. And if you had known me 14 years ago, you would have seen the fact that I could have eaten my portion and your portion and cleared the table and kept on going. I also have a propensity to lust in my heart, as I believe most men probably do. And I don't want that. I want to be the man of just one wife. I don't want to have those thoughts or those desires to look at things I should not look at. I also have depression. This came to light just a couple of years ago, and I think I probably always knew it. I've always been kind of a melancholy person, although you might not have known it because I'm an expert at wearing masks. I am an exceptionally good actor, and for most of my life, I kept it all covered up. But depression runs in my family on my mother's side, and a couple of years ago, through a very hard time in my life, I came to realize that I do have depression. These are just some of my struggles, and these are things that I'm in recovery for. I am working to earn back what I have lost through my struggle with food addiction, and through my struggle with lust, and through my struggle with depression. But that's not all there is, folks. Recovery covers an entire gamut of issues. Maybe you're a violent person. Maybe you have a lot of anger in your life. Maybe you were abused as a child, and that manifests itself today as anger or distrust or distancing yourself from people. Those are all the effects caused by a traumatic experience. And those are all things that are covered under recovery. You can gain back what was lost through that traumatic experience. Maybe you are a person on the receiving end of anger. You're in an abusive relationship. Recovery is for you. Maybe you are a person who lives in extreme fear, constant anxiety. Worry is something that defines who you are. Recovery is for you. Maybe you are a person of extremely low self-esteem. There are people, I know, people watching this right now, and you're saying, that's me. That's me. I don't think I'm worth anything. Oh, brothers and sisters, let me tell you, you are worth a great deal. You are worth enough that God paid the price by sacrificing his son on the cross for you. But I know those words don't always make it feel better. Recovery is for you. Maybe you are a person who struggles with pride, and that pride issue has cost you dearly in your life. Recovery is for you. Maybe you are a person who struggles with perfectionism, and you're so hard on yourself, and you beat yourself up constantly because you just can't get it right. Recovery is for you. Maybe you are a person who is deeply involved in pornography, and it is stealing all of your joy. Recovery is for you. So many more things: loneliness, unworthiness, guilt. I mentioned depression. Oh man, depression is huge in recovery circles. We've all got some of this stuff. Maybe you are a codependent. A codependent is somebody who is in a relationship with someone else with a very pronounced issue, and that issue becomes your issue because you lose your identity in either trying to cover it up or fix it. I'm talking to you. There are those of you out there again that are saying, "Oh, brother, that's me." That steals your joy and it breaks your heart, and you are no longer complete. All of the things that I have mentioned and so many more are things that are covered under the umbrella of recovery. And you can earn back the things that were lost in your struggles. I am living proof, friends. In the 14 years I have been in recovery, I have gained back my health. In the 14 years I have been in recovery, I have built up and solidified relationships that were rocky or even non-existent. In the 14 years I have been in recovery, I have learned the value of forgiveness, both offering it to others and accepting it myself. Through recovery, I am more whole, more complete today than at any other point in my life. I am happy. I am content. I am in a good place. And for me, at least, that is in huge part deal to my lifestyle of recovery. Now, maybe you don't have any of these issues. And if you don't, man, I am so happy for you. Because it's not always a bed of roses. You know, when God made us, He never promised us a rose garden. That's for sure. And maybe you don't have any of these issues, but maybe you do. And maybe you know somebody who does. Please seek recovery. Encourage those around you to seek recovery. There are all sorts of programs out there. Man, you've got your classic AA. You've got NA, Narcotics Anonymous. You've got OA, Overeaters Anonymous. You've got lots of A's. Lots of other recovery programs out there. The one that has worked for me has been Celebrate Recovery. We'll talk about that next time. But be brave. Be courageous. If you have something that is keeping you from being whom God created you to be, something that is sucking away every ounce of your identity, of your joy, man, you need recovery. Find a place to go. Find a meeting. Find people who will just welcome you in and love on you and be there for you. Find recovery. Thanks for indulging me this morning. This is an important topic. This is an important topic. And I think we can all benefit from understanding what recovery is and investing in it, either because of ourselves or because of loved ones. So I hope you guys have a great day. The next time I speak with you, I'll be talking specifically about what Celebrate Recovery is. And man, have a great day. I love you guys. All of this is my mess, but it's His message. I'll catch you another time. Bye.